call the Muskegon County Human Resources Committee to order. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Cross?
Here.
Commissioner Darasinski?
Here.
Commissioner Engel?
Here.
Commissioner Hughes?
Here.
Commissioner Mahoney?
Here.
Commissioner Sabo?
Here.
Commissioner Skolnick?
Here.
Commissioner Wilkins?
Here.
Commissioner Mash?
Here. Item number 3, approval of the minutes for January 8th, 2003.
I'll move. Second.
Moved by Commissioner Skolnick, seconded by Commissioner Cross. Discussion? No discussion? No corrections? All those in favor, use vote saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes. Item number 4, public comment on an agenda item. Anyone in the public would like to have a comment on this agenda item?
Mr. Chairman, Nancy Waters, the county clerk. I rise to raise some concerns about your item on 05 on amendments to the County Board of Commissioners rules. I stand here before you with 8 years of experience with this Board of Commissioners, 4 years as a county commissioner where I chaired the Rules Committee with Commissioner Skolnick and Commissioner Roger Wade, and 4 years now as your county clerk. And while I think there are some great things that are included in these rules, I've handed out, first of all, to all of you, the law that talks about the county clerk and the duties as clerk of the Board of Supervisors. Secondly, I think there are several things that need to be addressed yet to make these good rules. And one of the things is, of course, down there in section 3, under 3, one of the things you're able to do as a board when you elect your chair is have a secret ballot. This doesn't provide for that. There's several other things that I think if you could table this, and I would have an opportunity to meet with you and bring to you some amendments, you can make your board rules even stronger. I do have a concern about some issues as they relate to me, because we have lots of clerks that are doing lots of things, including the committee clerks for the other committees, that it sometimes puts me at risk if certain things aren't done in a manner of what the county clerk would be sued for or could have some responsibilities for. So I rise to speak on this agenda item and ask that there be some consideration for some input from me. And thank you for this opportunity.
Any other public comment? Seeing none, we'll move on to item number 5, items for consideration. HR 130205, approve the amendments to the Muskegon County Board of Commissioners rules as presented.
So move.
Second. Been moved by Commissioner Mahoney, seconded by Commissioner Engel. Any discussion? Commissioner Hughes.
Yes, I have some issues with that too. First of all, when we first took office on January 3rd, the first thing you asked us to do was vote on these rules. And we approved them, and now 30 days later, we're asked to reapprove the new rules, and none of us even got a chance to look at them and put any input in those. And I think that would have been an important thing to let the people that are going to have to abide by those rules for the next year have some input in at least going over them and making some recommendations. There are several things that I don't like about the rules. On page 11, under decorum, it says we need to eliminate the use of all electronic devices. If you're going to adopt these rules, I would like that at least to change to say items used by the commissioners and staff to conduct the meeting should be excluded from that. We're using iPads, you're using overhead projectors, there's people here using computers. If you want to turn off all the electronic things in the courtroom that, or in the boardroom, that really does inhibit our ability to do our job. On number 13, you want to eliminate the approval of the agenda. I don't have a problem with eliminating the approval of the agenda, but on occasions there are modifications to the agenda, and without even having that on the agenda, you can't add something or decrease something or delete something from that agenda. On number 14, you have it listed that you're gonna have we can have a secret ballot or a written ballot for the chairman of the board. You know, in an open meeting, I hate to have a secret ballot, and I hate for the very first meeting as a new board of commissioners, or as a new commissioner myself, I would hate to have to cast a secret ballot behind closed doors of my constituents at my very first meeting as the chairman. And I think as adults and elected officials, if we can't stand up for who we believe should lead this board, then I just don't think we should have a secret ballot at all.
That secret ballot's not behind closed doors. That it gets revealed. You just vote on a. Nobody leaves. Everybody stays here.
But do they know how I voted and you voted and everybody else voted?
Well, it's a secret ballot. I guess that just like going to the polls and voting.
Right.
Ain't no different.
Right.
Just, and you can respond to
Let's
this.
have a point of order, because Commissioner Wilkins had her hand up.
Yep, there you go.
Well, my concern is, in listening to the clerk, I would like to see all of those rules reviewed, because I sat on that committee and I wasn't really satisfied with the end results. And I think that we just need to take some time to review it. I know we have an annual time to review it, but we don't go through everything in there, and there's some things that definitely need to be changed. And I would welcome the clerk coming in with us and making those changes.
Commissioner Scully.
Well, you know, there was a lot of time spent reviewing these rules. I mean, I'm not saying, and the rules can be changed at any time. It's not like it's the Constitution of the United States. We could change things at any meeting. But, I mean, I can't tell you how many hours we spent reviewing these rules in the last year. And there's always something that isn't right. I mean, there's always something that maybe could be made a little better. But I mean, I'd say just go ahead and approve them, and then if somebody has better ideas, we can just do them. I mean, I don't know what more you could do.
Well, with that in mind, if we can bring up changes, I thought once we accepted them, then it's gonna be a whole year and we can't
No.
change it. So, I would welcome that.
Commissioner Mahoney.
I just had a point in terms of the secret ballot. I believe that's by law.
Is it a requirement that we have it?
It's not a requirement that we have it, but someone could actually request it, and that's
Okay.
right.
Thank you.
Commissioner Derasinski.
Correct me if I'm wrong, you know, 8 years ago, I think it was, Mary, you can nod yes or no, but it was a good 9-month to 12-month process of rewriting these board rules that haven't been touched for many years. Am I wrong? Yeah.
When I chaired with the other two commissioners, we met during the summer, and we then brought it back to the board in the fall.
It was quite a, pardon me?
I think
Yeah.
he was talking about personnel.
Oh, personnel, I'm sorry, personnel, but we did do the board rules too. That's right, I'm sorry, I'm mixing the time frame, but it was quite lengthy. And if I recall, there was a standing committee to do that at the time. Do we still have a standing committee or remnants of one? No? Okay,
There's a rules committee
Yeah.
that I appoint.
okay, and it's still there and
Yeah.
functioning?
It's in the board rules that I appoint.
Okay, and we're doing this outside that process.
No, the board rules committee recommends.
Okay, so they have met and reviewed.
Oh, yes, that's,
I was not aware of that. Was
yeah,
anybody
they're the
else?
ones that came up with this whole thing.
Okay.
Mr. Nash?
Commissioner Hughes is next.
You know, I appreciate the effort that the Rules Committee put into this, but you have 3 brand-new commissioners, and one of the commissioners, Commissioner Sabo, the commissioner that he replaced was one of the ones that was involved in this. I'd like to see the people that are going to be involved in adhering to these rules, the ones that make those decisions, not an outgoing board.
Commissioner Scully.
Well, I was just going to say that if the clerk has some thoughts or things that she thinks need to be changed, I mean, she just needs to put those in a memo to us, and we'll, you know, if they're good, I'm sure we'll adopt them, but, I think we should just go ahead and get this over with and then, just move forward. If it's next week or next month, we'll just change the rules. I mean, there isn't anything here that's gonna make a gigantic difference to the county, like in a day or two, or a week.
Commissioner Mahoney.
I just, wanted to follow the procedure. We had a rules committee, they made a recommendation, came to the board with a recommendation, and this is where we're at. If you want to make amendments to those recommendations, you can do so now, or you can do so before the next full board meeting.
Commissioner Cross.
Well, reading all these rules and the organizational meeting, I brought it up. In section 2, the time of the meetings, that was one of the things that I brought up about changing the start times for the public so they have a little better opportunity to come here to these meetings. And I see in here it's still at 3:30, and I would like to make an amendment to the motion to change that in this board rules from 3:30 till 4 p.m.
Second.
Oh, sorry,
He's amending this.
missed it. But also, I would like to amend that just for the record so that it's on there.
I have another comment, Chairman, if that
And I want to make sure with corporate that the changes, if approved now, we're still able to move forward with the change that he's looking for after that approval? Would that be improper?
No, they have to appear once in the full board meetings.
Right.
While we have notice.
Right.
And so, I believe these have already approved it. So these can go to the next board meeting and be approved. If you were to make a change today, they would have to appear in the minutes of the next full board meeting before they could then take effect.
Right.
So it's a three-step process.
But was not that change also mentioned as a motion to move forward in a board meeting?
It was definitely mentioned. I don't know if it was.
I thought it was motion to have that approval move forward and move to the human resources.
I don't know if it's listed as I read the rules, the purpose of placing them in the full board minutes is notice, basically. And I don't recall that particular change being listed, although it was mentioned definitely at the organizational meeting. And I think the referral was the concern about fiscal and organizational impact.
Right.
That was going to be looked at.
If I can. The way I remember, or what I read was we talked about it at the full board meeting, but it had to go through human services, and then if it passed, it was going to be a recommendation as you just spoke on at the full board.
Okay.
Like I noticed.
So we're in process of what we already talked about. Commissioner Hughes.
I would just like to say that I have enough concerns about the proposed rules to request that we not put them in now and re-look at them before we pass them. I think there's enough concern. There is a motion on the table, so
Are you?
Is that a motion to table?
Let me hold it.
yes, can I make a motion to table them for?
First of all, we had a motion and a second on this
Right,
change.
that's why I didn't make a
Are you
motion.
withdrawing your motion? It was an amendment to the motion. That's what I was, right. Commissioner Cross and Commissioner Scully made an amendment. And I don't even know if that amendment is being accepted by the original motion maker.
Jerry, you supported that.
Yes.
The amendment was for the time change to be added along with these changes that we currently have on the table.
I don't have an issue with that.
So it has to be approved by the second of the motion maker.
That was me, yes, I agree.
No, the original motion.
The original. That's you.
Is that me?
Yeah.
Yes, sir. So that friendly amendment has been accepted by the original motion makers to have that time change added into these changes that we currently have.
No, Mar voted against it.
That's what,
I think you want to vote on that separately.
And that's why I was asking for the approval, because their motion was to add that to the,
Right, but I think
Motion
it needs
that
to
you
be
just had.
voted separately on its own merits.
so you're not approving that amendment?
That's correct.
Okay. So he's not approving that friendly amendment, so we'll go back to the original motion that we had. And that's for the current changes that we have now. Everybody understand?
Yes.
But I think it was Susie's intent, don't we put words in your mouth, to table this.
Now,
She's made a motion to table.
but I can't make a motion where there's another motion on the table, can I?
Right.
No, you can
Motion to
table
table
can be made
anytime.
anytime, and you have to vote on that without any other
No
discussion.
discussion.
I would like to present a motion to table this.
A second.
It's been motioned to table the approval of the amendments to the county board rules as presented. Any discussion, Commissioner Sable?
You know,
I'm sorry, that's a table motion, there's no discussion.
We have a roll call.
It's a yes or no vote, up and down. It's been requested for a roll call vote. Madam Clerk?
Commissioner Sabo?
Yes.
Commissioner Skolnick?
No.
Commissioner Wilkins?
Yes.
Commissioner Cross?
yes.
Commissioner Derazinski?
Yes.
Commissioner Engel?
No.
Commissioner Hughes?
Yes.
Commissioner Mahoney?
No.
Commissioner Nash?
Yes.
6 yes, 3 no.
All right, we're moving on. That motion has been tabled to HR 130206. Authorize CMH Director to take necessary action to move forward on developing a new Western regional entity to include Ottawa, Allegan, Kent Lake, Oceana, Mason County CMHs.
So moved.
Support. Been moved by Commissioner Mahoney, supported by Commissioner Hughes. Any discussion? No discussion. All those in favor, use the vote saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes. HR 130207, authorize CMH Director to sign a contract with Insight.
So moved.
Telepsychiatry.
Okay, there you go.
Good job. Telepsychiatry. That was moved by Commissioner Cross, seconded by Commissioner Hughes.
No, Commissioner Mahoney.
Commissioner Mahoney? Any discussion? Commissioner Hughes?
I just wondered, on this, it says that there are indications that the Muskegon Medicaid population will be increasing in the next couple of years, which will likely increase our consumer numbers. And I wondered why it is that we were gonna put that in now instead of when we found out if those numbers actually did increase. And I also wanted to know, since it appears right now we're in an agreement with Ottawa County that is cheaper than what we're going into, why we're not staying with Ottawa County, why we're going so far away for a new contract.
Dave Parnan, Community Mental Health. Why won't we stay with Community Mental Health of Ottawa?
Yeah, they're actually providing the service right now, correct?
Yes, correct, but they're not able to provide any more services for us in the area of psychiatry, so they have a capacity issue there as well.
I see. Okay. Okay.
Any other discussion? Any other questions? All right, all those in favor, use the vote to say an aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? That motion passes. HR 130208, authorize CMH Director to sign a contract with AH Services.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Derazinski, seconded by Commissioner Cross. Any questions or discussion? Commissioner Hughes.
Me again. You know, this is, I'm trying to get to it here. This is the one that has, I had a couple questions on this. First of all, it says that, let's see if this is the right one. This is the wellness program. You know, I was under the impression that with the new healthcare provider that the county had, that it had a wellness program attached to it, that we were anticipating being so successful that some of the savings anticipated from that was being applied towards other things. And I wondered if this is a duplicate of that, and it's obviously considerably more expensive than the one we already had underneath the existing health insurance.
Dave Carnan, Community Mental Health. This particular issue here is not focused simply on employees, which I think you were making reference to. What this is a grant that the state offered for us to take our employees. Basically what we're asking to do here is Access Health will take what they call health coaches to work with community mental health employees who have particular health issues. And they will train and coach those staff on how to work on their personal health issues. If the staff agree to do that, then they in turn must find a consumer of our services to then teach them and coach them on that same issue. So it's an attempt to increase the health of our consumers by using our staff.
But you're limiting the ability of all county employees to take advantage of that by limiting it to just community mental health people, and there's a lot of people countywide that could have taken advantage of that too.
Well, this particular grant is coming from the Department of Community Health.
But is there any cost to the county for that grant?
No, there's no cost.
It says here, not to exceed $45,000.
Yeah. That's an in and out account for us. I mean, we've received that money as part of the grant that will go to Access Health for providing the coaching to the staff.
And basically with grants like that, once you receive the grant, you've already written what you're going to do, so you usually have to follow those unless you on process of approval, so they're just following through what they already written up to get the grant.
Thank you.
Commissioner Davis.
Obviously, there's no employees involved in this. This is all training. The other question I have, the people who work with mental health issues tend to have more themselves because of what they're listening to and dealing with?
Correct. I think if I understand you,
Yeah.
they have significant chronic health issues, obesity, lung issues, heart issues, cholesterol, diabetes.
I mean, when you're listening day after day, hour after hour to some of these things that are going on, it has to wear you down.
Mm-hmm.
And this is to help relieve that extra stress caused by this job.
I would say no to that. The intention is not to be a stress release to the staff. The intention would be that we have two groups of people who are both experiencing improvements in their health. That would be the employees and the consumers that they're working with. So.
I have one other question on that. Will those employees be doing this training on their own time or on the county time?
I believe that what I have read is it would be a little bit of county time, like maybe an hour a week.
Any other questions, discussion? All those in favor, use the vote to say an aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? That motion passes. HR 130209, authorize the creation of building maintenance mechanic 1 position.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Hughes, seconded by Commissioner Wilkins, Vice Chair Wilkins. Any discussion on that item? All right. All those in favor, use vote to say an aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? That motion passes. Next, we have HR 130210.
So moved,
Support.
unless you want to read that, Charles.
Nope. Any, no, that was motion by Commissioner Dierzewski, seconded by Commissioner Cross. Any questions, discussion?
Looking at the budget side, maybe I'm misreading this. I see in the very first paragraph, a negative 21,000. Am I reading that right?
Ken Krause, Director of the Public Health Department. The changes in salaries would be a drop of nearly 22,000.
That's
Our,
so unusual.
well, our intent will be then to come back next month because we have some vehicle needs.
Okay, I didn't read it right. Thanks, Ken.
Any other questions, discussion? All those in favor, use the vote saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? That motion passes. HR 130212. Oh, I'm sorry. HR 130211. Approve request for bids for water laboratory analysis.
So moved.
Right.
Moved by Commissioner Hughes, seconded by Commissioner Cross. Any questions or discussion? Commissioner Scully.
Maybe Mr. Kraus could answer this. This can be done, are there local vendors for this? Not, I don't know if there are not.
Trace Analytical can do some of them. I can't remember what the name is, the place that we've been working with. Pine Newhoff has been, once we got into some problems with getting the work done, Pine Newhoff has been doing it in this interim, and they can do the whole series of testing that would be needed. But they're actually the closest one that can do the entire set of tests.
Prine and Newhoff has a laboratory?
Yes.
Commissioner Jaruzelski.
Ken, I don't see anything in here. This is basically home drinking water, I take it.
Mostly.
I don't see any here for the benzines and those type. Is that a very rare?
It's primarily going to be those kinds of things that are in the routine testing,
Okay.
either typically for the well program, testing of well water, and if you have to, depending on where they're located, you have to do the partial chemicals.
Okay.
So those are all, they're all set by the state what we have to do the testing for.
Okay, I'm thinking of that area of the old refinery, both in Muskegon Township.
If it gets into that kind of testing, we go directly to DEQ and they'll actually do the more complicated sorts of testing with their places.
My experience, the best lab in the state is sitting right out on the wastewater system.
They gotta be certified for drinking water.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Any other questions, discussion? I would just make one comment, and that is, I like the idea of trying to save some dollars, but I know maybe even we can look into our institutions, because I know they do a lot of research